Hey guys, and welcome to Fire Starters, the channel where I will be telling you tales of the most extraordinary people ever to walk the earth, the saints. And each video is going to be on a different saint, but today's video is going to be the introduction to my channel. Particularly, I want to make a mention about our entertainment culture that we live in, which directly leads into the reason why I'm starting this channel. So we live in a culture that revolves around entertainment. Think about just commercials. I mean, it's all focused on movies, TV, entertainment. All the streaming services comes to mind, like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, available at our fingertips. It's both plentiful and accessible. But it's no wonder why we love it so much, right? It's really easy to sit on a nice comfy couch and munch on some schnick snacks, watch other people do things on a TV screen, so we don't have to. But we love it so much. We love being entertained. We love being sort of entranced by these really cool stories. By interesting stories, by mystery stories, scary stories, by war stories, funny stories. And we love sports, and we also, more specifically, love hero stories. Even more specificaler, we love underdog hero stories. Think about all the DC and the Marvel superheroes that we love so much, or Lord of the Rings, where you've got two humble little hobbits that go travel across Middle-earth on an arduous journey and take the One Ring to rule them all. They take it and destroy it in the fires of Mount Doom to save all of Middle-earth. Star Wars, where you have like a teenager on a planet called Tatooine, and he becomes a master Jedi and he brings balance back to the Force. We love this stuff. We eat it up and we demand for more. Kind of the issue with most of the stuff that we see on movies and TV is it's fiction. Now, I don't have a problem with fiction necessarily. I love fiction. I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit. Kind of the reason why I brought those ones up. But the entertainment industry is hyper-focused on fiction when there are so many stories out there of true heroes, and those heroes were the saints. Now, what made the saints so great? Many reasons, and the basic reason is this. The saints did not conform themselves to this world, and they did not conform themselves to worldly thinkers, but rather they conformed themselves to the will of the big man upstairs, the good Lord. They literally lived the Bible verse from Romans 12:2, which is, "Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, so that you may know what is true, what is the will of God." They lived by that and did not back down an inch, even when faced with petrifying opposition. This included in the 1st through the 3rd centuries in Rome, during the tyrannical reign of Roman emperors who were going around mass murdering Christians for not conforming to their beliefs. Some examples of the saints that stood up to this opposition were Saint Ambrose, Saint Agatha, Agnes, Erasmus, Saint Valentine. Sound familiar? We celebrate Valentine's Day every year by giving each other hearts and flowers and chocolates, but hardly any of us know who Saint Valentine actually was. He was a priest from Terni, Italy, who during the Roman Empire, he was ordered by the Roman government not to perform weddings because it was believed, it was actually mandated that Roman soldiers could not get married during their military service because it was believed that they performed better in battle when they were single. Well, Saint Valentine, understanding his priestly duty to administer the sacraments, his God-given duty to give the sacraments, he decided, I am going to do this anyways. This is what God has put me on the earth for. I am going to give the sacraments. And he secretly performed weddings. And this is why we associate Saint Valentine with romance. Speaking of marriage, later on in the year 304 AD, we have another great saint named Philomena, and she was a 13-year-old Greek girl who was ordered by the Emperor Diocletian to marry him. But she had consecrated her life to God as a young girl, and to his utter dismay, she refused him. Now, keep in mind, the Roman emperors back then believed they were basically like on equal terms with the gods, so their egos were pretty dadgum gargantuan. So when this 13-year-old Greek girl refuses him, he's just like, So in his rage, he threw her in a cold dungeon, hoping it would change her mind. It didn't change her mind. So he decided to just torture her and kill her. So he ordered his Roman soldiers to tie an anchor to her feet and drown her in a river. The only issue is she had this weird habit of like not dying. Like she would come back up from the river and haunt the soldiers, and they would scream and run for their lives thinking that she was a crazy ghost. When they tried to shoot her with thousands of arrows, the arrows would just like miss somehow. Crazy story. We'll get maybe to Saint Philomena in another video. But let's move on a couple hundred years to the Middle Ages, and we have other saints like Saint Anthony de Padua, Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Dominic, or Saint Joan of Arc, another teenage girl who led the entire army of France in the 100 Years' War. These were some friggin' heroes we're talking about. Now, it wasn't necessarily the sort of carnal acts of heroism that made the saints the great heroes that they were. It was their devotion to God and their devotion to the virtues, faith, hope, and charity, the three greatest virtues, but also temperance, justice, fortitude, humility, patience, kindness. They were dedicated to these virtues, which are the building blocks, the tools to sainthood, to holiness. And I like to refer to the virtues as superpowers because they truly are superpowers, and all of us can attain them through practice. Now, some of the saints, along with their dedication to the virtues, were given extraordinary supernatural gifts. One of these great saints will be the saint that I'm going to be talking about in the next video. So guys, please stay tuned. This saint is truly amazing, and he's one of the most important saints, especially in the modern times. Now, the reason why I'm naming this channel Fire Starters comes from Luke chapter 12, verse 49, when our Lord says, "I have come to set the world on fire, and how I wish it were already blazing." And the saints were the ones that carried on that setting of the world on fire, not by going and burning things down and being arsonists, because that's a crime, but by setting the world on fire with the holy fire of the Lord, with the truth, the transformation of the mind, like I mentioned earlier from Romans 12:2. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. That's all I've got for you today. So let's go and carry on the tradition of our saints and set the world on fire. Okay, bye. Praying for you.